Hey to Miss Wilson here. So today we're actually going to read the first page of our book based on the picture that we did our poems on. And your poems were brilliant. I have loved reading them. I'm really impressed, especially with all your rhyming couplets. So let's read the first page of our story. So we already know the picture, knows our main character. We don't know where she's looking out to though. Let's see if we find out more in the story. So, once upon a time, in the great city of Paris, near Rue Saint-Rustique in the 18th arrondissement, there lived a girl named Belle. Belle loved the city, and the city loved her. She knew its alleys and avenues, its rhythms, noises, colours, and people by heart. She knew that Monsieur Talgard opened his bakery every morning at 7. Madame Babineau watered her sunflowers at 8, and the bells of the Sacré-Cœur marked 9 o'clock, a full minute after all the other city bells. But as much as Belle loved the city, and the city loved her, there was a small piece of her heart in another place altogether. Every year around this time, as the days grew longer, the weather warmer, and ice-cold lemonade became a priority, Belle and her parents would make a very special journey. That's the first page of our story. We learned a lot there. So we now know our main character is called Belle. We know that the city she lives in is Paris, and that's what she's looking out over. So it's all set in France. There's some tricky French words to read there too. Today we're going to take a closer look at the setting, which is where the story is set, and obviously we've just learned that that is in Paris on a road called Rue Saint-Rustique. So this is actually a real place. So even though the story is fiction, the place it's set in is real, and we can have a look at it on Google Maps. So this is what it looks like in real life. So we've seen the illustration in the book, and this is what inspired the illustrator and the author to create this town. So we can see there's lots of high windows, which is probably where our main character Belle lived, and there's lots of little shops. There's a cafe. There's lots of bustling people like we saw earlier, and there's a little souvenir shop. We spin round, there's a restaurant. They've got fresh food outside, just like we saw in the illustration. They're selling food out on the street and lots of places to sit outside. That's because a lot of the time it is a bit warmer in Paris than it is here. If we go down this way, we can see all the cars that were in the illustration as well. And there's actually also a museum. So it's a really, really pretty place, and we can really see that the authors use this to help create and make this place come to life in her pictures. So there it is again, there's the illustration, and there's the real life. So she's really captured it well in her story. So today, to help us understand the story a little bit more, we're going to create our own little diagram of the setting so we really know where the story is set. And to do that, we're going to need to know some French words. So, matin, boulangerie. A boulangerie is a bakery, and there's a bakery in the illustration. All of these words will be found in the illustration. Matin, patisserie. That means cake shop, and we do sometimes use that in England, so you might have seen that word before. Matin, fleuriste. That's a florist, that's where they sell flowers. And we should know this one, Matin, cafe. Cafe is actually a French word that we use in England, so you've been using a French word without even knowing. Next word, library. That sounds a lot like a library, which we have, but library means a bookstore, so where you go to buy books rather than borrow them. And the last one that is in our illustration is boutique. And that means shop, so just any shop. Like in the illustration there is the greengrocer's shop, so that is the boutique. So what I'd like you to do today is to draw me your own French town. So imagine you are Belle and you're looking out, and I'll leave the picture below, so if you want to use that to help you can, and I'll leave all the words up. You can pause it to see the words too. You can either draw her town or your own French town. I want you to label it with some of the French words here. This is really going to help us understand what the town is like when we move on to doing a bit of writing about the story. But for today, I just want you to draw out your French town and label it with some of these words. If you would like an extra challenge, you may have a dictionary. If you don't have a French dictionary, then you can just use Google Translate online, get an adult to help you get Google Translate up, and maybe find some new French words that you'd like to add onto your street as well. And you can name your street whatever you would like. Maybe you'd like it to be the real street, such as Rue Saint Rustique, or maybe you'd like to give it your own fictional name. So I can't wait to see your French towns. Good luck, and don't forget to send me a picture.